Hi, I'm Psiman and welcome to a short video where I'm going to be giving you a bit of an overview of a new free-to-play Battle Royale shooter that I've been enjoying for the past few days. Then I'll spend a little bit of time going over some of its strengths and weaknesses and discussing this idea of whether it is the best Battle Royale shooter in the world. Okay, so those of you that have watched this channel before will probably know how much I like PUBG. And I've also dabbled a little bit in Call of Duty's Blackout level, which is their take on the genre. So it will come as no surprise that I would want to try out a new game that's hoping to capture some of the market share from those other big names in this genre. For the few of you who aren't that familiar with the term Battle Royale, I thought I'd spend a little bit of time just explaining what it really is. Now, this term Battle Royale goes back to the 18th century, where it was a name given to large-scale combative events. But the first time I ever heard about it was thanks to the WWF, or WWE as it is today, and their large-scale event called Royal Rumble. But it's not that that's really influenced this genre of computer game. It's the film that's, named Battle Royale from the year 2000, a Japanese movie in which 40-ish Japanese school kids are dumped on an island, given a random weapon, and then forced to fight to the death, and they're pushed ever closer and being restricted by having these explosive collars placed around their neck. So if they choose not to take part, they're gone. And this element of being restricted is one of the things that's become a focal point of this genre, where you're forced ever closer and closer to in a smaller circle as things progress. So this underpins the genre it influenced. PUBG has 100 unarmed combatants diving down from a plane, skydiving and then parachuting to the ground, looting for weapons to aid you in your fight to the death to be the last person standing. But how does Apex Legends separate itself or define itself within this genre? Well, like most new inventions, it mashes up two or more existing things. Whereas PUBG and the incredibly popular Fortnite start with each avatar essentially being the same apart from cosmetic differences, Apex Legends allows for the choice of one of 6 avatars, or with 2 more that are unlockable through grinding, or you can just go out and pay for them. Many have stated that this means Apex Legends is a kind of blending of traditional Battle Royale and a Battle Royale arena shooter, much like Overwatch. Each of these legends from which the game takes its name differ obviously in appearance, but also in their passive, tactical and ultimate abilities which they have at their disposal. The passive ability is a perk which gives your character a boost which is unavailable to the other characters. For example, Lifeline, who's a combat medic, is able to revive downed comrades 25% faster than all of the other characters, while at the same time putting up a defensive energy shield that blocks incoming fire from one angle. Or what about Bloodhound, a so-called technological tracker who can see footsteps and other things left behind or altered in the environment by enemies that have been nearby recently. The characters also have tactical and ultimate abilities, and these differ from the passive abilities in that they have to be charged over time. The tactical ability is available to you as soon as you land, but once used will require a short recharge cycle, and then the ultimate, as you can probably imagine from its name, is much more powerful and therefore takes a lot longer to charge. Some examples of these are Bangalore's tactical ability, which allows her to fire a smoke from a grenade launcher, which puts down a level of concealment which can be really useful when trying to beat a retreat or when you want to revive fallen teammates, or maybe loot an area and make it more difficult for the enemies to see what you're doing. As for an ultimate ability, this is Wraith, an interdimensional skirmisher who can create what is essentially a wormhole and then travel a short distance along the map, place the other end of the portal, and then this is open for 60 seconds for you and your teammates to traverse back and forward if needed, but it's also available for the enemies to use. So it can be an advantage, but sometimes it might be a disadvantage. It just has to be used in a tactically minded way. So it's these abilities that give the game an added level of tactical depth and set it apart from the other games within this Battle Royale genre. They also add to the learning curve of the game because you really need to get quite familiar with at least 3 of the legends, because when it comes to starting a match, you might not always get the choice of your top pick. Another thing that differentiates this title, at least currently, is that you're forced into squads of 3. You can break away from that squad and go and play solo or duos if you want to, but the game is built around this idea of 3-player squads. And that might seem like a bad thing, but it actually is supported by one of the game's strongest features, its communication system. Built right into the core of the game is the ability to communicate your intentions and desires without actually having to use your voice. And this is done by the use of a ping system. So, for example, you want to go somewhere and you'd like your teammates to follow you, ping it.
Let's explore this way.
There's a particular item you need to stock your inventory, ping it.
I need an extended heavy mag. I need a hopper.
You spot an enemy on the horizon, you've guessed it, just ping that enemy. And what this means is players without a microphone can still communicate efficiently. And what's more, players who don't even speak the same language can now communicate effectively and tactically together. In fact, one reason I like it is because sometimes I don't want to use my microphone. I don't want to talk to people. And I still feel that I can make an input to how the game is played without having to use my voice once. I'd love this feature to be included in PUBG, and if it were, I think I'd be far more inclined to play duos and squads with strangers. So hopefully you can already see that this game has a lot of strengths. And as a result of them, I have enjoyed nearly every hour of the, so far, 18 hours that I've spent on this game. So obviously no game is perfect, and as a result there are a few gameplay and quality of life improvements that I think Respawn could make to take this from great to the absolute best. Firstly, as much as inventory management has been streamlined, I'd like to see ammunition handled in a slightly different way to the rest of your inventory. The weapons seem to burn through ammunition far quicker than what is available on the map, and as a result of this, And as a result of sometimes getting into too many firefights within a game, I've reached the end and I'm out of ammunition. And it's really frustrating. However, if ammunition was too plentiful, or you could carry an infinite or extremely large amount of it, it would diminish another one of the tactical elements of the game. So I think this is something that, if it is affecting a large number of people in the community, I think Respawn will address it and they will balance it. I mean, obviously this is a new game and it will be tweaked and balanced, I'd imagine, throughout the course of its life. Or maybe it's just me and I have a really heavy trigger finger. A second area that requires slight improvement is that with reliability. On more than one occasion, I've had the game crash to the desktop inexplicably, and this tends to happen straight after the legend selection screen, and boom, the game's gone and I'm back at the desktop. Now, as much as I'm saying this is a negative, the way the game has run as a whole, at least for me, is quite phenomenal. When you think about other big name multiplayer shooters that are out there that have had terrible servers, lots of issues with lag, connection problems, this game has run almost flawlessly by comparison. And in fact, Respawn's handling of the launch of this game is another thing that's really impressed me. The fact that I had no idea this game was coming out. And I think the vast majority of gamers out there were in the same boat as me. And that's something that's really nice. It's a nice change not to have months or years of hype and lead up to the launch of a game, to hear about a great new game that's come out and actually be able to play it on the day that you hear about it, I think is an amazing thing. And maybe not having this hype has really helped the game because people have actually gone out and played it rather than watching footage of it that's been uploaded online and speculating about how good it might be or how bad, or that the game seems a bit limited in scope. By actually getting boots on the ground, people playing the game, and millions of them, of the last count I heard, there are 25 million unique players with as many as 2 million concurrent players. And that's an amazing install base for a game that's only been out for just over a week. But that's really a positive, and I was talking about negatives. So back to the negatives. Really, there's only one negative that I can think of, and that's in the way that you communicate post-match with the people that you've played with. Because this has happened a few times, and it's only happened once where I've had such a good game and so well that our squad has been the champion that game. Well, I suppose technically I've played 2 games where I've been in the champion squad, but the second time it required a really good player to actually carry the other 2 of us who'd been killed at the end. But this one time where the 3 of us had worked really well together as a team and had come out on top, I would have liked to have been able to very quickly and easily just suggest, by maybe the push of a button, that why don't we team up and stick together and play the next round? I'm very surprised that that's not an option, something that Respawn didn't think about, because I'm sure I've seen it in other games, and it's one little element that I feel is missing from this one, and something that, well, can quite easily be fixed in the next update, I'm sure. In fact, one problem area, one factor that exists in all multiplayer team-based games is that the quality of the game that you play quite often has a heavy dependency on the quality of the people that you're paired with. I'm sure we've all experienced this. Sometimes you get paired up with a group or matched with a group of like-minded people, and they're courteous, kind, non-abusive, whereas at other times you'll get some often young teenage boys screaming into the microphone, blaring music down it, and you know, just not being a lot of fun to play with and have got no care for playing as a team. If, like me, you don't have any friends who are currently playing this game, well, there's not a lot you can do about it. You have to be matched with random strangers. And like I said, sometimes that's a good thing. More often than not, it's kind of negative. To be quite honest, one of the main reasons for me creating this video was to show it to two of my really close friends who I play PUBG with, and in the hope that they will see the value in this title and that they will download something that's free to play, but it's time, I think, is the thing that they would need to spend on it, getting used to the new systems, learning it when you can just jump into PUBG and play that you know, obviously you've had hours and hours of experience of playing it. Having to go and learn something new can be a little bit of a pain, but I think that learning curve is really, really rewarding because this is a fantastic game. So, Leon and Bandito, please download this game because I'm feeling pretty lonely here playing all by myself. This is one of the best squad-based multiplayer games that I've ever played. And even when playing with other players I don't know and trust, it's still an amazing title. But I know it's going to go from great to awesome as soon as I can play with people I do trust. So, hopefully this brief overview has given you enough to help you know whether Apex Legends is something that you want to spend your time playing. Or if you're really interested in cosmetic upgrades, maybe it's something you want to actually spend some of your cold hard cash on as well. And as always, I'd really love to hear what you think about this game. So please, if you've got the time, leave a comment to let me know if you've tried the game already, or maybe you're thinking about it after having seen this video. Also, any feedback or criticism is always welcomed here. And for the first time ever, I'm going to ask, if you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, because I think that helps to potentially send the video out to other people. If it's well liked, YouTube will then suggest it for other people searching for this topic. And as you know, as I stated in my last video, it is my hope to grow the audience of this channel, and that's something that's going to help me. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. From my, I was going to say living room, this is not my living room, from my games room to wherever you are, this is Psiman signing off. Bye-bye.